Hi, this is Billie Beene here with a U.S. News update. Today's date, March 20, 2024, time about 7 a.m. in Texas, episode 149. Some of the things we'll be covering. The North Pole spins backwards. Eclipse and 7 planets. Civil war at the Texas border. You better believe it. And where is Kate M. and President Trump, a New York target? So some of my sources are God in the Bible Patriot subscriber. On Before It's News, an interview by David NINO RODRIQUEZ of 107. On YouTube, Redacted, Publination, Fox News, Real Raw News, Hal Turner. On Before It's News, Tim Brown. On YouTube, Trey Smith, Kim Clement, Rosemary's Baby, a movie. So let's get started. I'm going to begin by drawing, first of all, what's happening on the sun and the earth. So we've got the sun, we've got the earth. And currently what we have caused by waves of energy from space. And we know that Mike from around the world is regularly on Pastor Paul Begley's Thursday night program, has been talking about these waves of energy coming in associated with what we call Planet X or binary sun or Nibiru. So we're seeing it impact the Earth, and we currently have around the Arctic, the North Pole, we have the North Pole vortex spinning backward. So for the U.S., this is causing a dip in the U.S. polar jet stream. But this has happened 6 times since 1979. However, this began March 4 and is continuing. It's the longest and strongest backward spinning of the North Pole seen since 1979. And what it's producing in this area is a spike in the ozone area and the stratosphere, which is leading to warming. Now, this has been predicted for decades. This is part of the Earth changes that will occur that will cause the Earth to go into an ice age it's now predicted cliff high, and Ben Davidson with Suspicious Observers give 2 dates, 2030 to 2040. But this is what you would expect to see. And this warming in the polar area, the Arctic, releases more fresh water that would go into the ocean currents and eventually stop the ocean currents and stop warming on Earth and lead the Earth into an ice age. So we see that's going on. So we see something to pray against, don't we? So that's going on. We also will have a small CME possibly graze the Earth today. It may give us a G1 or G2 geomagnetic storm and possibly auroras, possibly in the top part, the north part of the U.S. Okay, so that's going on. Now we'll talk about the eclipse and some additional information. So here we have the U.S., and we know in 2017 we had 1 eclipse, and now we're going to have the second one April 8. It's going to begin at Eagle Pass, Texas, pass all the way through 7 cities named Nineveh. And we have this going on. So we're having this eclipse, and we had an earlier partial eclipse that gave us a form like this. And this is the Hebrew letter that equates to the name of God. And some other things are going on. So I asked God about these other things that are associated with the eclipse, and God said, I've marked my name on America, and I, God, will protect America. So that's good. So we have also the eclipse going to occur. We will have 7 planets lined up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have Uranus, we have Jupiter, Mercury, and on this side of the Earth, we will have Venus and Neptune and Saturn, and adjacent to Saturn is the planet of war, Mars. So this adds to the impact that we will see with the eclipse. Now, what we're hearing also, excuse me, is that the eclipse will impact in Texas, will impact our power grid, which I was very surprised to hear. So now, in Texas, we have 2 time zones. So we have this, and we have Central Time, and this is Mountain Time. And this covers 3 counties, El Paso, Hudspeth, and Culberson. And so the time, and I'm amazed about these times for the eclipse to last. So in Mountain Time, it'll be 12:10 p.m. until 3:10 p.m. And most of Texas, Central Time, 1:10 p.m. to 4:10 p.m. Now, the impact on the Texas power grid, according to ERCOT is an association of power providers in Texas. If we have clear skies, it's the eclipse is going to take down that part of Texas power grid that excuse me, comes from solar panels. And it's expected to go down from 99% of full solar power down to about 8% during this time period. Now we have additional solar projects coming online, and we know that the solar panels do store some energy. Nevertheless, ERCOT is putting out this cautionary note that during the eclipse, we could have an impact on the power grid in the U.S. So that's going on. And now we'll talk about Civil War, actual hot shooting, kinetic civil war going on at the Texas border. So I'll draw another U.S. map. Okay. So we have Florida, Texas, California. At Eagle Pass, Texas, This is where we have the Texas military. We also have the Texas National Guard. And we have other states sending their National Guard. I know we have Missouri, I believe South Dakota, Florida, Louisiana, plus. Okay. Now, what's going on? This is from Real Raw News. So, last week, we had also in this area near Maverick County, Texas, on the border, we had last Friday, so that would have been, let's see, this is 2019, 18, 17, March 16, we had a shootout between the shadow FBI and U.S. military. I think that was, U.S. Army Rangers. So they had an actual shootout there. And what happened is the shadow FBI, ordered by the JB show, Mayorkas, the director of Homeland Security, and by the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray. These FBI agents were sent down to the border to aid and abet illegals coming in. They were, so it was just last week, prior to Friday, the U.S. Army Rangers embedded within the Texas military. And then on Friday, they discovered the FBI agents aiding and abetting, cutting wire, bringing in illegals in Maverick County. And in the Rangers were responding to complaints by American citizens living in Maverick County that many illegals were coming in to the West Living Park RV park, where many American citizens who are retired live. And in the last 4 months, the illegals have stolen up to $150,000. They've stolen several RVs, gone into RVs, stolen electronics and jewelry, and they kidnapped a widow's dog. So that's been going on. So the U.S. military came in. They met up on Friday, March 16, with FBI bringing in the illegals, a group of 20 to 30 single men aged 25 to 45, wearing designer clothes, having bags full of food and water, who spoke English. And the FBI were bringing them in. So the Rangers startled them. Many of the illegals then ran across the border, but some pulled their guns, as did the FBI. 2 of the U.S. military were seriously injured, one with, by the FBI, a bullet to a main artery in his leg, and another U.S. military had a bullet graze his head. Both of them were airlifted to Fort Bliss, that's in El Paso, Texas. So the U.S. military then shot dead 5 FBI shadow agents and 6 illegals. So that happened on Friday. We have a hot shooting, kinetic civil war going on the Texas border between the white hat operated U.S. military under the command of President Trump versus the shadow FBI, the shadow JB show, and the shadow Department of Homeland Security. So that's going on. So keep your powder dry, baby. We still, many of us, can almost see on the horizon some type of red dawn event. And we see it is going on. Okay, now we'll talk about, okay, and we have National Guard coming from the great governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders. So Arkansas is also sending National Guard who will operate under the direction of Governor Sanders, but the lead agency in Texas will be the Texas National Guard. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah. So we see Texas taking more steps against an evil and corrupt U.S. federal government and other operations like BlackRock. That's a deep state company. Texas pulls $8.5 billion out of BlackRock. That's at the direction of the Texas legislature. This was the Department of Education and our great Governor Abbott to pull this money out of BlackRock, a deep state organization, because this organization, as we see many deep state organizations, boycott oil and gas. So the Texas Department of Education pulls $8.5 billion investment dollars from BlackRock. And we say, way to go. So that's going on. And now we'll talk about this. So I had talked about a deep state, a shadow U.S. military using a yawl type plane that was with the directed energy weapon, and that was yawl number 2, the one that attacked Texas and also Maui. That happened in August. So that one's out. And some segments of the White Hat U.S. military had also taken out other planes. So that's 2 that left 1, 3, and 4. And we understand 1 has been taken out and another one has been taken out. That leaves 1 plane operating. So the second plane that was taken out just a few days ago by U.S. Special Forces, and this happened in Alaska. So we have 2 bases, one at Anchorage and one located at Moosehead, Alaska. So at Anchorage, we have Elmendorf base, and in Moosehead, Alaska, we have Ellison Air Force Base. Okay, so now this yawl plane was hidden at Ellison earlier in March 12. U.S. military located at Elmendorf let the White Hats know that this yawl plane was hidden here. Then the Special Forces went into Ellison a few days ago, Ellison right here at Moosehead. They encountered, I believe it was like 6 to 8 guards who had shaggy hair and beards, and they were armed with SIG, SG 550s, assault rifles, and AA-12 automatic shotguns. And the White Hat U.S. military special forces identified them as mercenaries either out of Britain, G48, or from the US Academy. There was a gunfight. All of the guard mercenaries were shot dead, and then they pulled them into the hangar where the yawl plane was located, set incendiary devices, left the hangar, and remote detonated it. So that's going on with the white hat military. So as far as the U.S. White hat military knows, there's one directed energy plane left in hiding. I suspect pretty soon some information is going to come out, and they will also take that one out. So that's the way to go. These planes are being used to destroy America and harm American citizens. So we see that going on. Now we'll talk about, where is Kate? Kate M. And this is Kate Middleton. So I'll cover this for you. First, we'll go into this. Who is the deep state? So we know about the fallen angels mating with humans, making the Nephilim, the hybrids. Out of this group came 13 bloodline families. And this includes like the Rothschild, Rockefeller, and so on. And all of the royals, most royals in the world over the past 1,000 years, the deep state went in and killed the hereditary monarch lines in many countries and replaced them with these bloodline families. This includes England, where we have, now we have King Charles. He has a son, Prince William, and it was probably about, it was sometime last year. So I had a word from the Lord about the Antichrist, and that there were 8 currently living. All were born on earth. 6 were living on earth, and 2 are off-world. And one of the individuals God identified as a potential candidate for Antichrist is Prince William. Prince William is married to Kate Middleton, and there's been much controversy because she has not been seen since January, nor have their 3 children been seen. And it was reported in the press that in January, she had an abdominal surgery, and 107 is putting forth possibly that she was pregnant. There's some controversy. Was it an abortion? Because it's been known she's been estranged from Prince William and had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was older than Kate. Not identified, but it is noted by some sources that the boyfriend passed away 2 weeks ago. Now it's 107 who's putting forth that possibly her abdominal surgery could have been an abortion, or it could have been something like the movie Rosemary's Baby that came out in 1968, starred Mia Farrow, and had to do with Mia being drugged by her husband, going through a ritual and becoming pregnant with the child of Satan. So that's being put forth about Kate Middleton. So now I researched Kate Middleton, and she is part of the bloodline families. Some of her ancestors include one of the bloodline families is Jeanette, and she is also in her bloodline is King Edward III, who was King of England in the 1300s. Now, these bloodline families put together marriages, and the women are considered to be breeders, like Kate Middleton and like Princess Diana. And they put the marriages together based on wanting to pass that bloodline. That's from the hybrids, the Nephilim. Some of the characteristics they have, they do not possess the Spirit of God, not until they get to the level of having 52% human DNA. Before that, they do not possess the Spirit, have within them the Spirit of God. They are unredeemable. So the bloodline families. Now, 52% human DNA, they can receive the Spirit of God and they can be saved. But Kate Middleton is part of this bloodline family. Now, we have this. Prince William, as identified to me by God, is one of the candidates to be Antichrist. Now, this is new information for me, brought out by 107. So we have Israel. And I have brought this out in 1917. The Rothschilds began buying property in this geographic area. And then about World War I came a document, the Balfour Declaration, that ceded this geographic area to the Rothschild families. And then during World War II, the deep state families made sure enough Jews died in Germany so they could then go before the UN and demand that this geographic area be given to the Jews. So this is a setup by the deep state via the Rothschild families to jumpstart Revelations, actually, Israel and return of the Jews. And now they're definitely positioning to bring about World War III, Armageddon. Now, this new information that 107 brought out is in the Balfour Declaration was the right of England to seat a king in Jerusalem. So now we have this. So we also have King Charles. So within, this is Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, flags were at half-mast in England. Russia and Europe put out the information that King Charles has passed. It hasn't been fully made public. If King Charles passes, that makes Prince William king. He's identified by God as being a candidate as an Antichrist. And now we have the Balfour Declaration saying that the King of England can be seated as the King of Israel in Jerusalem. So, where is Kate Middleton? It's currently unknown, and whatever happened to her. So, we have things going along, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we're having all this eclipse and other signs from God in the heavens. The North Pole spinning backwards. Okay, so that's going on. And now, we'll talk about this. We'll talk about freedom of speech, which is given to us under our Constitution, our U.S. Bill of Rights, which says Congress cannot pass a law that abridges or takes down freedom of speech, and also cannot abridge freedom of religion, freedom of the press, freedom of speech of citizens, the right to assemble, a right to petition the U.S. government for grievances by citizens. So, First Amendment, now we have a U.S. federal Supreme Court judge, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and there was a lawsuit brought before the Supreme Court, like on Friday, about the U.S. government abridging freedom of speech of American citizens via various platforms. That would be internet and writing and so forth. And Supreme Court Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson said, oh yeah, that First Amendment really hamstrings the government in clamping down on the speech of citizens who speak out against the government. Where do we find these people, and why is she a Supreme Court judge? Maybe it's time for her to step down. So that's going on. And now we have this. Oh yeah. So President Trump, remember in New York City, he had that preposterous finding against him that he owed something like $355 million because he had borrowed money from a bank, paid the bank back early. It was a real estate deal. And this evil and corrupt New York City court, throwing out the Constitution and all law, federal, state, and local, said that President Trump was guilty of fraud by inflating the value of his property. And as I've brought out before, and anyone who knows anything about real estate, the person who's borrowing money against their property does not value the property. And this was a commercial real estate deal. Specialists inside the bank, plus specialists who are licensed by the state to appraise property, would have appraised the property. So we saw, a false finding there, and this is causing businesses to leave New York City. And we have this, that the governor of New York says to businesses, particularly those investing in real estate in New York, oh, you don't have to leave. That court decision, that was all about getting Trump. Well, hello, Governor. You are foundating that this court decision was illegal, not founded on law, but a political, a New York court operating as a weaponized political arm of the Dem Party. She actually came out and made this public statement. Oh, you real estate investors, you don't need to leave New York. That deal with Trump, that was all about getting Trump. So, once again, where do you find all these people? And now we have this. So, we're seeing another court case in Georgia, Fulton County. And we've been hearing all about this Peyton Place type operation. Fanny Willis and her lover. She's the DA. Now, Judge Scott McAfee a few days ago said that, while it had the appearance of being a conflict, well, Breitbart had already brought out there was a mole from JB's group inside this district attorney's office to guide and massage getting Trump, and it's well established Fanny Willis met in the White House group with KH, the vice president, and with Liz Cheney, a House of Representatives individual who was intent on taking President Trump down. And the judge, Scott McAfee, well, it has the appearance of being a conflict of interest. Are you kidding me? And his finding was either Fanny had to leave or her lover, Wade, Nathan Wade, resigned. That leaves Fanny. But Fanny still has a few more things to get straightened out, and she could lose her law license. So she has one to face President Trump in an appeal measure, and also she has to face the Georgia Attorney Qualification Commission of Georgia, and it's this group who could take her law license away. You know, her supporters are recommending that she step away from this case and take a leave of absence until all of this blows over. If she is, and as we said, sources said her worth is $8 million. So this appears to be politically driven. If she is so blinded by her own ego, she cannot see that if she stays in and pursues this, she's very apt to destroy herself in working as an attorney and certainly any future political positions. So that's going on. And the appeals court could reverse Judge McAfee's finding and remove Fanny from the case. So, yeah, some people are just blinded by their own ego, and they can't see the real world. And now we have this. Okay, so President Trump, we know, has taken over the RNC, the Republican National Committee. And this is reverberating in a positive way through many states. In Louisiana, we had Jeff Landry, he's the governor. And the recent elections brought in many significant positions who are Republicans. In other words, President Trump heading up and uprighting the ship is able to put money into campaigns that are beneficial for the American people. So in Louisiana, it's Republicans win. Governor Jeff Landry AG Liz Murrell, Secretary of State Nancy Landry, and the Treasurer John Fleming. So that's what we need to see across America. And now I bring this out. There was a late prophet, CLEMENT. Now, he predicted 9/11 in 1986. He predicted President Trump would be president in 2011 and many other things. And he passed away. He passed in 2016. The CLEMENT family asked TREY Smith to bring out and present to the public prophecies that were in the future that Kim CLEMENT had not yet made public. So this is one that's being made public. Now, in the course of Kim CLEMENT making predictions about President Trump since 2011, the designation came out that God called President Trump his David. And so this future prophecy, which will be in full swing by the fall of 2024, God, I have set aside my David. And in the fall of 2024, I will be seating my David. And in 2027, America, a bright future. So we see that going on. So a short prayer. Once again and forever. I received this from God, September 28, 2023. May the skies of America be once again and forever clear and blue. May the land of America be once again and forever golden with grain and with gold. May the waters of America be once again and forever clear and vibrant with life. May God once again and forever reign, guide, and prosper America, land of the free and the brave. And we say thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there. Continue to pray. God is in charge, and He is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.